Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, an update from Brazil and actually a lot of updates from Brazil. First, the population in Brazil, part of the population went in the streets and started calling for the army to intervene or something because they disliked the outcome of the elections. Well, that's a very interesting development. I think the army did not do anything. That was the first thing. The other one is that Bolsonaro, the current president, the one who lost the elections, did not concede but stated that he will follow the constitution and asked people who are demonstrating in the street to go home and mind their own business. And that's with that. Another thing is that Mr. Lula, I think, is a little miscalculation for the Western countries, which think that he is actually going to change course from the far right Bolsonaro into a docile individual old man. Unfortunately for those guys, Lula is, in my assessment, a far left, I would say communist, and he is very much fond of China, doesn't have a problem with Russia or Iran or Venezuela, all this, and Cuba, all these countries that are actually US's enemies, competitors. So that's another little thing, aspect that would affect United States' celebration. And actually there was a vote at the United Nations, I think it was today, regarding, or yesterday, regarding, it was a General Assembly vote to condemn United States' embargo on Cuba, which is 30 years old. And there were two countries that voted against it, the resolution that would condemn the United States' embargo. And those were United States, obviously, and Israel. And then it was Brazil, which abstained, and Ukraine. So we have here Brazil, last time when they voted, I think, voted against the resolution. So when Bolsonaro was in charge, I think they voted against the resolution to condemn the United States, which shows that Brazil was towards United States, maybe when it was Trump around. And now under Lula, which now he's going to be the president, they abstained. That's another thing that is concerning, I think, for the United States of America. And now for the Brazilian citizens, this is the last piece of news that is very concerning. But if you know Lula, then you are not surprised. I'm personally not surprised. Maybe people who thought that he is I don't know, he's not a communist, let's put it this way, are surprised. But probably the people that voted for him wanted exactly this, free money from the rich people. Therefore, we deserve it somehow because they took it from us. So we needed Lula, 76-year-old guy, or 77, I think 76 here, to take from the rich and give to the poor. But there's too many poor over there. So let's see, this article comes from Reuters, and it's from November 1st, 2022. Brazil's Lula may seek more than $39 billion. Let's put it 40, okay? $40 billion in extra 2023 spending. So that means he's going to be spending, the government spending. What kind of party does that? Governmental spending. Is that a conservative one, or is a communist, I'm sorry, liberal one? So, and this is strange, not strange, it's contradictory to logic, because you have the liberal parties come from liberty, from freedom, from liberty, and those countries those countries, those parties, the governments that are liberal, instead of opening and providing you with more rights and liberties, actually they want more control from the government, a bigger government, and more social program and all that. Instead of saying, no man, you're free, do it on your own, or expand freedom of speech, or freedom to bear arms or carry or whatever. No, they're the opposite. So, Brazilian President-elect Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva will negotiate in the coming weeks an increase in 2023 government spending that could exceed 200 billion reais. I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm sorry. Certainly is the currency of Brazil. $39 billion. So he wants to increase that could exceed 200 billion reais. This is $39 billion, said his former finance minister and close aide Guido Mantega. In an interview with Reuters, he said the first task of the new government taking over from right-wing incumbent Jair Bolsonaro on January 1st will be revising a 2023 budget proposal that he described as fiction. Okay, why, it makes people work? Mantega said the government would have to exempt at least 120 billion reais of new spending from a constitutional spending cap to fulfill campaign promises such as more generous welfare programs. So let me read that. So would have to exempt at least 120 billion reais of new spending from a constitutional spending cap to fulfill. So that means they have a cap, say, man, no more than this because we're getting out of hand, man. But the communists say, no, don't worry, we're gonna just run it over. We increase the cap, like United States do. They will do the same thing to fulfill campaign promises such as more generous welfare programs, not programs, for the government to also expand emergency public investments in infrastructure and housing. What do you mean in housing? The government? I thought that's it should be private. Oh, the government will build, they will have the money, and they will... It may have to waive more than 200 billion reais, he said. Mantega also warned of a possible shortfall in federal revenues next year. Really? If the economy expands by less than 2.5% GDP growth projected in the budget bill. If you look at if you look at market projections, the way things are going, growth would be 0.5%, which is stagnant, right? If the economy grows by 0.5%, you won't have the revenue you are supposed to receive. It's okay. You're gonna print money, or you're gonna ask for loans. Also, inflation will be lower, and we know that inflation helps tax revenues. Yeah. Mantega said the newly elected government should work this year with lawmakers to ask for a constitutional waiver to increase spending next year. That means loans, print money, I guess. I don't know if they print their own money. While a transition team under Lula will begin debating the long-term policy that will replace the current spending cap. For reaching a consensus on the fiscal anchor, you need more time for discussion, he said. Lula has pledged to exempt workers who earn up to 5,000 reais from paying income tax. And how are we going to get the revenue? Taxing the rich, right? Which Mantega estimated would cost around 120 billion reais. It is very high. It's a very high cost. Would have to be done gradually and amid a tax reform without unbalancing the public accounts, he said. He stressed that the center-left coalition forged by Lula's campaign would be reflected in its policies over the next 4 years, which would still leave room for fighting poverty and increasing public investments. It says $1 is 5.11 reais. So, at least As I always say, the communists are real, or the central leftists. My bad. They are real. When they say they're going to do something in their campaign, they're really going to do it. The other side is no, it's okay. Nah, yeah, we'll do it. When they come and get in the office, not really. At least this is what the United States seem to be. But anyway, this is what's going on in Brazil. Bolsonaro, if he's not going to concede, nobody cares. The other guy is going to take office. He's going to do what he does best, Robin Hood style. And the United States, I think, shot itself in the foot. Remember, Joe, semi-conscious Biden, congratulated Lula for his victory, for a free, fair, and what was the other one? Credible. The three. Free. What was the other one? Credible was the last one. Free, fair, and credible elections. Yeah, okay. So, I don't know. I have no evidence to contradict that, so whatever. But I think the United States will hope that this guy kicks the bucket soon. But if you look at Biden, Lula might be for a long haul. Already. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.